This is our third video in our Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 series. The first one was on Adam Warlock, the second was on Cosmo the Space Dog, so make sure your notifications are on to get notified about our other Comic Origins videos coming soon, and another huge Guardians of the Galaxy video we have coming at the end of the week. Rocket Raccoon and Groot have become merchandising powerhouses, and for good reason, as James Gunn has made them into two of the most insanely popular breakout characters in the MCU. Today's video is going to cover Rocket's earliest appearances, him becoming part of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics, and his lasting legacy within the comics and the MCU. So let's do it, a-holes! Rocket Raccoon was created by writer Bill Mantello and artist Keith Giffen and first appeared in Marvel Preview number 7 in 1976. However, his first appearance is not technically a canon story to the Marvel Comics universe, so we're skipping it, baby! His first true appearance within the Marvel 616 universe is the Incredible Hulk number 271, and for the purposes of this video, I'm going to focus on his canonical appearances. Rocket's first appearance was heavily inspired by the song Rocket Raccoon off the Beatles' famous White Album. One interesting fact is that the title of the issue and his first canonical appearance was, "Now somewhere in the black holes of Sirius Major there lived a young boy named Rocket Raccoon," which was a play on the opening lyric of the song Rocket Raccoon that goes, "Now somewhere in the black hills of Dakota there lived a young boy named Rocket Raccoon." So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cover his first appearance briefly, then I'm going to go back and kind of Tarantino everything. We first meet Rocket in the Incredible Hulk number 271 from June 1982, when the Jade Giant was accidentally sent to the strange planet Halfworld following a battle with Galaxy Master and the Abomination in the previous issue. Hulk wakes up on a strange new planet with talking anthropomorphic animals, which, is odd, and he runs into Rocket Raccoon and Walrus. Side note, Rocket was first called Rocky as a nickname during this issue. Anyway, Hulk helps them destroy a robo-mower, essentially a lawnmower of death. Hulk leaves with these two animals and boards their ship, the Rack and Ruin. There he learns that he's on Halfworld, a planet in the Keystone Quadrant which is isolated from the rest of the galaxy. Nobody goes in, nobody comes out. The main conflict here is that Hulk just wants to get home, but Rocky needs Hulk's help to defeat a character named Judson Jakes, a talking mole who runs a toy-making factory on Halfworld, and his henchmen and servants Uncle Pico, a tortoise, and a mercenary named Blackjack O'Hare, a rabbit. Rocky and pals end up under attack by Judson, who's trying to get his hands on an item called Gideon's Bible, a mythic book that explains the origins of Halfworld and the galaxy it resides in, the Keystone Quadrant, and how to possibly even escape it. However, the book is written in a language believed to be indecipherable. During an attack, Rocky's girlfriend Lila, an otter, is kidnapped along with the book. Rocket, Walrus, and Hulk all launch a counterattack on Space Wheel, Jake's orbiting space station / base. Along the way, they fight off, let me check my notes here, space clowns, and they end up at Jake's orbiting space station. Rocket rescues Lila from Blackjack, and Rocky and the group force Jakes to surrender. Meanwhile, Pico, the turtle, reveals he's already deciphered the book and uses a teleportation device to send Hulk back to Earth. Rocky and his crew escape with the book, and the issue ends. That was a stand-alone self-contained story, and the issue seemed random at the time, but a 4-issue miniseries, Rocket Raccoon, came out 3 years later that gave us a significant amount of context to Halfworld and the animals that lived within it. Here are the important bits. We learn that Rocket was the chief protector of the Keystone Quadrant. As I mentioned before, a sector of space walled off from the rest of the galaxy. The planet Halfworld itself was set up by humanoid aliens and built to house some of the most mentally ill patients in the galaxy. These aliens happen to look exactly like humans, but don't worry about that. Originally, the animals present were all there to provide comfort and companionship to the patients, just regular animals. There on the planet, scientists studied and recorded the mentally ill, and their recordings later became known as Gideon's Bible or the Halfworld Bible. But the colony was eventually abandoned by the alien caretakers, and the patients were left in the care of hyper-advanced robots that the caretakers built for the patients. However, just as the Terminator warned us, these caretaker bots soon gained sentience and, using genetic engineering, performed the most natural task any being can complete. They quit their responsibilities and gave them to somebody else. The robots, using genetic engineering, evolved the animals to a state of hyper-intelligence. The robot overlords left the animals to take care of the patients on the planet, which was a lush paradise, and relocated themselves to the far side of the planet to build a massive ship by creating a massive industrial complex. On this side of the planet, it's basically one giant factory. This split the planet into two halves, aka Halfworld. The entire economy and driving force of Halfworld is the production of toys, which was started by two otters, the unnamed parents of Rocket's girlfriend, Lila. The animals make toys to help keep the patients docile and happy. Many generations later, the industry was dominated by two animals, Judson Jakes, a talking mole, and Lord Divine, a reptile. Jakes was the head toy maker for the otters before having them assassinated, adopting Lila, and taking over her fortune. This is a real Game of Thrones meets Animal Farm situation. The 4-issue miniseries focused on Rocket and Walrus attempting to take down both Judson Jakes and Lord Divine and saving Rocket's love interest Lila, who gets captured like 11 times because everybody's trying to marry her to get that sweet, sweet toy money. Rocket and team eventually bring the Halfworld Bible to the robot masters of Halfworld, who use it to create helmet devices that cure the mentally ill of Halfworld. They all combine forces and team up against the toy manufacturers in an event called the Toy Wars, and they save the day, and at the end of the series they leave Halfworld to explore the galaxy, no longer bound by the Galatian wall that surrounded the Keystone Quadrant. "Nick, please, spend more time on this story." "No," I screamed into the dark void of YouTube, because ultimately this version of Rocket Raccoon isn't that important outside of the relationships he built at this time and his early trauma. Rocket spent years in virtual obscurity, showing up slightly in one issue of Quasar and a few of She-Hulk, but never in any significant context. It wasn't until the late 2000s when Rocket was revamped by Dan Abnett, who had been working to overhaul the entire cosmic side of Marvel Comics. Rocket resurfaces as a supplemental character during Keith Giffen's Star-Lord miniseries during a crossover event called Annihilation Conquest. Annihilation Conquest takes place after the events of the first Annihilation crossover event that saw Annihilus attempt to subjugate the universe. Having large portions of the galaxy in absolute turmoil, including the Kree, the techno-organic hive mind known as the Phalanx launches a surprise attack and conquers the Kree homeworld Hala. Star-Lord, Peter Quill, is tasked by the Kree with destroying a Phalanx biocontamination plant and was made the leader of a ragtag group of Kree prisoners: Bug, Deathcry, Mantis, Captain Universe, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot. Rocket was imprisoned for violating Kree airspace and captured, and during the time he met Groot and they became close friends and allies. Rocket's reintroduction during Annihilation Conquest also cemented his presence as a tactical genius. He has multiple quick-witted battle plans prepared during the assault on the Phalanx. Eventually, Ultron, who commanded the Phalanx, was defeated, and following Annihilation Conquest, Rocket joined the Guardians of the Galaxy, a new team composed of several key heroes responsible for stopping the Phalanx. The new team consisted of Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, Adam Warlock, Phyla-Vell, Gamora, and Drax the Destroyer. And that pretty much brings you up to the point of modern comic books. Rocket has been involved with virtually every single incarnation of the Guardians of the Galaxy since then, in some capacity or another, and he's grown to become one of the most important supplemental cosmic characters in the Marvel Universe. He is a tactical genius, a weapons expert, and an incredible friend to all of his allies. And that is about all I wanted to cover for Rocket Raccoon's comic book origins. I hope you learned a lot, and if you did, consider liking, subscribing, following me on Twitter, sending me money on Venmo, whatever you want to do, whatever feels right. This has been Nick with Key Issues. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and remember the motto, Rocket Raccoon over everything.